First year I used all singles. The hookup ratio was okay. I hooked the fish, but I couldn't get the fish to get hurt. The trebles hurt them. The trebles go down and they eat stuff up inside of them. When they come to the boat, I call them smokers because they're bleeding out the gills, right? Those are the ones you want. You want them to come to the boat. You want to get them on the boat. You want to get it over with if you're doing that. You know, and guys go, oh, that's gross. You know, it's fake. Do you want to sit there for an hour or do you want to land the thing? The longer the fish is on the line, the more probability of what? Losing the fish, right? Treble hooks, you should have both. Depends on what you believe in. But I really believe in treble hooks. The treble hooks have been nothing but positive for me on this whole tuna thing. The fish out here right now, those little yellowfin, they're all over the poppers right now. And they're on those small mega bait type of baits. I use trebles on both of those, you know? So I will tell you that someone was asking about kites, right? It has not been a kite year. It's not been the year of the kites. You know, I haven't seen all these fish caught on kites. I went with Dwayne earlier in the season, and we caught seven fish on kites. We caught 4 big bluefins. We had 4 guys on the boat, and we caught the smallest yellowfins in the world on kites, on the yummies. I've never seen such small. You couldn't even tell you were bit half the time. You could see something went weird, and you're like, was that I thought that was a blow, and you start winding, the kite wouldn't even come out of the clip, and then it would come out, and the yellowfins were about this big, eating the yummies. Right? That was earlier in the season. I've seen no other kite fish that have been caught. You know, I think Billy Kelman might have a few, but ever since people started fishing the dead ones and rigging them, there's been really no kites. They slow troll them on balloons all over the place. The bites are pretty amazing. So
back to the hookup bait. So do you just cast them out and let them drop?
No, you cast them right into the foamers. Yeah, and let them drop. They'll be bit before you even get a chance to put the reel in. Yep. What questions do you guys have? Did I hit it? Go ahead.
Have you come up to a foamer this year, or in any of the last 2 or 3 years that didn't bite for you?
Yeah, lots. Yeah, lots of them. Lots of foamers. And you know what happens? If you fish a treble, what happens? You snag them. You snag them. And when you snag them, it is pretty much a nightmare. Yeah, it's not fun. But what I will tell you about foamers this year is this year's all been about match the hatch. You got that? It's like the bait's this big, make sure your jig's that big. The bait's this big, make sure your jig's that big. The poppers don't matter. If you watch, if they're on smaller bait and you throw a bigger popper, they won't eat it. But if you throw a smaller popper or one of the stick baits, they're all over it. They'll eat it really good. What else? Come on, you guys.
You always see that Billy Hickman in your poppers?
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
You want to take me out?
No, I don't take you in, dude. You know what I'm saying? I'm kidding. No, I don't take you.
Enjoy your toes while you got them.
Yeah. What else?
What about, like, if you're out there at night, like squid floating or?
Squid worked really well. That was like a super quiet secret this year. So guess where the squid came from? Ranch 99. So it's a big time secret. I'd go over and buy. It was there like $3 each. I'd buy those 12 inchers like this that weren't bleached, and I'd go and get a huge circle hook. And I used to do this in Puerto Vallarta all the time. I would literally falsify the bottom of my cooler and put a dozen squid frozen on the bottom and put a fake bottom in there and ship them down there, and those things would get me cows all the time until they figured out what we were doing, and they'd tear all the coolers apart. So then you couldn't take them down there. Well, out here, last year, someone was going, only if we had squid, so I didn't say nothing because I knew that Ranch 99 deal was going. I got them last year, and then this year we got them, and I took the guys from Quicksilver out. They had a whole bunch of, like, the upper echelon wanted to fish. So, thank you. And I ended up getting, I think, 8, and we caught 60s and fish on them. But the key to a squid is fish a really big circle hook, right? And then when you're fishing it, what you're going to do is you're going to do about 15 feet you're going to take your rubber band, you're going to put an 8 or 10 ounce sinker on, and slowly put it down. If it goes too fast, it wraps around your main line. So you slowly put it down. People are always like, how do I know 6 feet? If it's a 7-foot rod, and you go from the tip to the reel seat, it's 6 feet. But I'm telling you, if it says 30 fathoms, and those fish are showing 30 fathoms, do 30 fathoms. Don't, well, I think I'm at 30 fathoms. Don't do it. Make sure that you get down there, because a lot of times this year, I would be pulling line off like this, and the get bit right out of my hands. Boom! I'm like, oh, you're on. You know, it's like, yeah, it's good. Remember Ranch 99. Don't forget that. Always remember Ranch 99 too with white sea bass fishing. If you can't get fresh dead, Ranch 99. They'll bite it. So, yes, sir.
Are you using glow sticks on the squid at all?
No. No, you could use glow sticks on the squid. It'd work. It'd be perfect. You know, I'm telling you, when they get down there, they can smell them. They're on that stuff. So that also works for yellowfins. So if you get yellowfins and you're marking yellowfins deep, get out there, get some squid. Thing with the squid is make sure that the squid's not frozen. Make sure that it's semi-like normal when you're putting it down. When you hook it, hold it, hook it once through the mantle, turn it around, hook it twice through the mantle, and put it down. Key to it is slow. Everything's real slow when you're putting them out. People that just drop them down, they're up on somewhere else. Right? Everybody got that? Is there any question in my, like, a lot of times when I talk and I don't find it until the end, I talk way over people's head. Am I okay today? We're all good?
Do the weight and rubber band thing again.
What's that?
The weight and the rubber band.
Okay, so
Explain that again. Yeah.
And he could probably tell you that too, right? You know the weight in the rubber band.
Sure.
Okay. So what you're going to do is you're going to take the rubber band and you're going to go hook it to your weight. You're going to go 3, 4, 5. Open the rubber band and stick the weight through the rubber band and just pull it into a knot. But you're going to do that 15 to 20 feet above the squid. Okay? So what's going to happen is it's going to be like this. Right? And what's going to happen in the current, the squid's going to move in the current. It's going to have some sort of movement on it. What you want to do is make sure that everything goes down slow. And the other thing is knots. Make sure you tie good knots. Test all your knots. Test your knots. Really test them. Well, I was watching someone do it on the boat. God, my knot's got to be done because my hands hurt. Does braid hurt your hands?
Yeah.
Huh? Right? So I'm like, watch this. And the knot pullers came out. Pulled the knot pullers out. You can hear a knot pop. Even on a hook, a lot of times you'll watch the knot and it will turn over or it will cinch just right. You'll watch your tagging go from this to this once you get it going right. Don't cut your tagging before you cinch your knot on anything. Because then you can trim it a lot cleaner. Knots that go from braid to floral, pena knot. Great knot. If you guys want to try something, look at a new improved pena. It's 10 and 8. It's 10 down, 8 back up, through, cinch it. Works perfect. I've not lost the fish on it yet. What else? Everybody's tired.
Ribbon, correct?
No, I'm not.
You're talking about big braid. What do you think about the Max Squad?
Don't know. I never fished it. Anything that has to do with Shimano, I sort of stay away from because I worked there for 6 years. Right? So I have nothing wrong to say about people, but just the way some things are run, I stay clear of it. Daiwa stuff. Daiwa's got good stuff. If you want to look at new reels, Daiwa's got new reels. Accurate's got great reels. Got tons of Accurate reels. I've had nothing but success with the Accurate reels. You know, Shimano has great reels. Lots of good reels. But for braid, I use Tough Line, but mostly right now I'm using Daiwa J-Braid. Daiwa J-Braid works really good. Okay, what else? We got some cool stuff to give away too. I brought a whole bunch of flat balls or dead balls. I got 2 packets of hookup baits for you guys, and then I got some really cool cutters to give away. Come on, you guys aren't going to see me for a year. Give me some love. What's up?
You gonna rail any of these rods?
Huh?
Are you gonna rail any of these rods?
Am I going to rail them?
Yeah, put any of these rods on the rail.
Oh yeah, I got 2 new rail rods. Didn't you see them? They're right here. I don't know if you guys heard, but I am hooked up with iRods, and iRods got new railroads. These are brand new, they just came out. So I'm not really big on like roller guides anymore, just because, you know, it's just pretty much the same thing, but I am big on, what am I big on? Rods that bend, right? I don't want stiff rods because I'm an old guy. I'm gonna get beat up. So we do have rail rods. Rails are trend. What else? You have a question?
I had a question between MLPAs or local yellowtail. You pick.
I'd rather have local yellowtails, right?
Okay, so if I'm gonna put, how can I catch yellowtail within 20 miles of here?
Oh, it's easy. What's the number one? What's the number one like go-to bait?
Bait?
Yeah.
Sardine?
Mackerel.
Surface iron?
Mackerel. Slow trail mackerel. Right? If they're in the area, slow trail mackerel.
So explain your slow trail technique.
Okay, I'm going to take a, depending on how big the mackerel is, I'm going to take whatever size that mackerel is and the hook that it goes with that mackerel. I'm going to hook them right through the nose space. I'm going to put them back. I'm going to have a piece of fluorocarbon, maybe 4 feet, 5 feet in front of him, using green braid. I don't like white braid that much, but you can use white braid. I'm going to put them way back. When I say way back, I'm going to stick them probably 100 yards behind the boat. In and out of gear, I'm in the right spot. It's no different. You know what I was doing that for this year? White sea bass. White sea bass ate them too. I don't know if you guys fished the white sea bass, but yeah, they were eating them right on the surface. But the fun part with the white sea bass thing was I did a lot of stuff that I used to do for yellowtail 15 years ago. I'd go into a spot, put a balloon on the on my line with 15 feet of line out with the mackerel on it, throw it into spots where the yellowtail or around kelp, because there's tons of yellowtail on kelp, right? Everybody knows that. So it's like you get bit in the kelp, you got a kelp cutter rig, so you're probably fishing 40 or 50 on the line on the leader, you're fishing 80, 80 pound on the braid, and you can cut through it. So the same thing that we were doing that way was like this year I would slow trail mackerel thinking I was going to catch yellows, and I was fishing down by Encinitas in my skiff, and I catch giant white sea bass. Right? Same thing. So you don't know what you're going to do. Slow trolling is probably the most productive type of fishing you can do, because there's a couple of things go on. Get it? Cover a whole bunch of area. If you cover area, you get more opportunity for a bite, right? And then just with the live bait, the one thing with the yellowtail, remember, if he eats the bait, what's he going to do? Turns it around inside of him, right? He will never eat a bait tail first. He'll grab it tail first, he'll kill it, turns it around in his mouth and eats it head first. Why does he do it? Because the spines don't get into him. And when it goes through constant with no problem. So always remember that. If you get bit on the slow troll, do not set the hook when you get bit. You will feel him go bump, bump, bump. He'll do it a couple times. When he does it and the line starts going off and it's going off steady and it's going faster, he's got it. Throw the gear up, throw the reel up, set the hook.
Using the lightest drag you can use to not pull line off the hook.
Yeah,
Reel
well,
when you're,
the clickers on most reels
Right,
suck,
it's not-
right?
it's enough.
Just to be honest. So what I do is I keep it in, like a lot of times, if it's a star drag, just enough.
Just enough.
Just enough. And when you get bit, obviously you put it in feasible, let them go, and then turn it up a little bit, and then get ready to go with them. But remember what I'm telling you. Do not set up on those things until they turn the bait around in their mouth. They do the same thing with sardines. They do the same thing with everything. But if you want big yellowtail, keeper yellowtail, fish the mackerel. And then the best mackerel, what are the best mackerel? What do you think?
Green bass.
Spanish. They love them. What's up?
So you're either fishing in the kelp or you're fishing off?
No. The only time I'm telling you I'm fishing in the kelp with the balloon. I'm always fishing edges. Always fish edges.
20 yards off average?
No, not even. Like when you're talking edges, you're fishing pretty much right on them, and you're just watching what you're doing. What's the most important thing about the kelp? Current. No current, no fish, right? Which way does the fish's head go? He goes into the current. right? So when you want to troll a lot of times, you pick your way. Either way, you can troll for the things. But just know that when they're sitting with their face into the wind. They're sitting with their face into the current. If there's no current and there's no wind, go home and go to bed. Right? If you want to catch fish and the wind's blowing, and the wind's blowing out of the west, it's on because they're looking. And the wind will help create what you need. When you look at fishing, and no matter what kind of fishing there is, there's like 5 things you want to look at. You look at current, you're going to look at water temp, you're going to look at bait, you're going to look at structure. What's the last one? Lunar. The lunar thing has a lot of things that happen to it. That's a good one. The lunar has a lot of things that happen to it. Those tuna, someone was talking to me today about the tuna. It's like 4 days after the main and 4 days before, stuff, magic happens. And it doesn't only happen for tuna, it happens for yellows and everything else. You can basically watch the lunar cycles. There's a thing, and it's in the Farmer's Almanac. And the Farmer's Almanac gives you fishing days based off the lunar. My dad used to use it for bass fishing in the 60s. We're going this day, we're going that day. And I was like, huh, I followed it, it works. The other thing that you guys should always look for is buy a tide book for the year. Go through the tide book and find your full moons and find the key days before and after. The other thing is look for your biggest tidal movements. When you find your biggest tidal movements, you want to fish on the biggest tidal movements when they're around what? Gray light. Morning, evening. It's like you can set your whole thing up. I used to do it because my wife was a nightmare. We had like 3 little kids, and she was like, and I was like, I got it. So I'd go through this, and I'd go, I'm fishing this day, this day, this day, this day, this day, and I'd always know when I was fishing, and then when I was babysitting, right? So I could give her a month ahead of time when I was going to fish. It's like, time out, I told you last month, look at that day, you know? Same thing. Prior planning prevents poor performance.
Did that work?
It always worked.
Always?
With your
Yeah.
wife.
Oh, you got a good wife.
Yeah, no. No. Is there a good one? Well, I shouldn't say that. Ah! Yeah. Oh, no, you still. I'm out in Mickey Land.
Did you put any weight when you looked on it at all?
What's that?